Today we're going to talk about the pillar again of forging intergenerational relationships. And you might be thinking it's awfully strange, Marco, that you're standing in a graveyard. Well, there's a reason why I'm standing in a graveyard, because some of those relationships, even though they may have passed, are still people's voices into our lives. There are so many who have gone before us and who have laid down legacy of faith into our lives. And some of those voices kind of call back to us long after they have left this earth. I can even think of some of the great writers that I know and love. And earlier this year, Ravi Zacharias, who I just thought was such an incredible teacher, passed away. Eugene Peterson, who passed away last year. Dallas Willard, some of these great men and teachers. But I also think of people closer to me that I have known who laid down legacy in my life, who have passed away, but still speak to me through the memories of their lives. I think of a pastor that I had when I was in my early 20s, Pastor Jack Council, who spoke into my life. I want to share with you a passage of scripture from Hebrews chapter 11. But before I do, I just want to say that this is what the writer of Hebrews is doing here. Last pillar, we talked about articulating the gospel. Well, this is exactly what the writer here in chapter 11 of Hebrews is doing. He's mentioning all these great people and their stories out of the Old Testament. And he's mentioning some of them by name. And he's saying, by faith Noah, by faith Abraham did this, by faith Gideon, by faith Rahab, by faith, and he continues to name these people out of the story of redemption that God had in the Old Testament. Well, that's part of this intergenerational relationship. And then finally he comes to chapter 12, and he starts this way. Therefore, since we are surrounded by so great a cloud of witnesses, let us also lay aside every weight and sin which clings so closely, and let us run with endurance the race that is set before us. So you see, so many of the people who went before us, who end up in a place much like this, laid down foundations into our lives in order that we could run our race for God in our lifetimes. And it's also important for us, as we have these relationships with others who are much older than us, to realize that we too will be there one day. And we too will be the ones that are laying down foundations for others. Until I see you tomorrow.